Talked about how California continues to be the world's fifth largest economy, but we continue to have some big challenges, and a lot of that was reflected in our state budget this year. We passed a budget that $211 billion in our general fund budget, but we are facing a significant budget deficit, and we had to make a lot of hard cuts. I want to emphasize that as the chair of the Assembly Education Committee and as a former Torrance School Board member, my top priority is public education. And I'm happy to say that even though we were able to balance the budget by making a lot of tough cuts, including an 8% across the board cut to state government overall, that we were able to protect classroom funding. And I know that teachers like Jeremy Gerson can appreciate that. And more importantly, for all of you that have family members that attend our Torrance schools, I should emphasize that over 85% of a school district's funding comes from the state of California. And so that is why I'm going to continue to make education funding one of my top priorities. Let me just talk about three issue areas that I've been focusing on as your state representative, and then I'll open up for questions. The first is education. So not only did I focus on protecting classroom funding in the state budget for K-12 education, but I also authored Assembly Bill 247, which was signed into law by the governor, and it's now Proposition 2 on the upcoming November ballot. Proposition 2 is a $10 billion statewide bond that is not going to be funded by increasing taxes. It is funded through the general fund. And so that means that over time, as the bond is sold, bond indebtedness is incurred, that over time that would be funded through the general fund. But the reason why it's so critical, as folks in Torrance know, is that our schools are often the backbone of our community, and a lot of times our schools, most of the Torrance schools continue to be it's probably now over 60, 70 years old. When I was on the school board, we would talk about how it was over 50 years old. And a lot of the facilities are dilapidated, often posing health and safety concerns for our kids, for our staff. And so it's critically important that we continue to invest in our schools, especially through our school facilities, so that we have 21st century classrooms to meet 21st century education needs. So that's been that was my top priority for this year, to get that on the ballot. And if I may, ma'am, you'll be the first person to call, but I'd like to...
on that subject.
Okay, all right. But that's one thing that I've been working on. Another top priority bill of mine that is now on the governor's desk is to fight book banning. Now, I know that this may be a controversial topic for some, but I believe that government should not be limiting our freedom to read books. Government should be, and regardless of whether you're a Democrat or Republican, conservative or liberal, that we should have the freedom to read and have access to books at our public libraries. And so my bill, AB 1825, will ban local public libraries from adopting rules that would ban or limit books from being able to be provided to the general public. Now, let me also emphasize that, as a parent of a teenager, I'm not talking about allowing Playboy magazine to be displayed in the magazine rack. You know? The difference is that this bill, you know, it doesn't allow, like, you know, politicians or, you know, vocal minorities to try to ban books, but rather to leave the discretion to professionally trained librarians in terms of how and where to display books. So, for example, you know, if there's a book that family members are concerned about, you know, whether it's age appropriate, they can have discussions with their librarian so that the librarian can make, you know, exercise their judgment in terms of how and where those books should be displayed. But at the same time, you know, we want to make sure that you know, politics doesn't get in the way of all of our freedom to be able to read books that we're interested in, that we want to read. So that's another bill that I've been working on. Let me move on from education, and I'm going to come back to you, ma'am, on education, but let me move on to another topic that I know is